In this video, we're going to go over a tip or just a little lesson for relevant to marketing and canvassers. So anyone that's distributing bandit signs ultimately. So here's some general rules of thumb as to where it's okay to distribute bandit signs. Okay. So in general, you're primarily going to distribute them at intersections and stop signs. And that's because it's where people stop and they look. Okay. So these are pretty much the only two places you should be distributing them at. Intersections and stop signs, places where people stop and look. Here's some specific examples of, general locations that it's okay to pass these out, bandit signs. So exits and entrance points of communities. Most of these communities that we serve in the 55 plus active living retirement communities around the greater Sacramento area, they're gonna have, let's say, like 3 exit points, okay? So it's pretty great to distribute these at the exit points or entry points because that almost verifies every time someone enters or exits that community, they see some of our signage, okay? They see a sign and a number and a service that they can call, okay? Another good trafficked place to distribute them at are shopping centers. So think of stores that attract the type of clientele that we like to service, maybe high-end, clothing places or Starbucks, places where nice stores are that people go to if they have disposable income. So if not the entry or exit point of communities, shopping centers are another trafficked place. People, they go to Target. Target is like a busy mom. Lots of people go to Target, right? But those are, in general, that's a nice location. That is a good example that has big parking lots, several stop signs, 1 or 2 main entries or exit points to or from that Target. Same with Home Depot, Starbucks, churches. These are great particular places to put them at. Churches because, people are going to be predictable coming in, going to, every Sunday, whatever, assuming the mass or church service is then. But it also attracts lots of parishioners that tend to be older or have the time to go to church, etc. So churches are another good example, as well as elementary or middle schools. So places where, busy parents are going, they're driving their kid, it's not the kid driving to school. No 9-year-old's driving to school, his mom is, or whatever it might be. Elementary, middle schools, these are places where parents that are busy, they value time, they're dropping their kid off, they don't have time to clean the gutters or clean the windows, but they want it done. Especially in nicer communities, those people are going to have some level of disposable income that they can pay for the services so that they can go watch their daughter's soccer game instead of having to clean their windows. So elementary, middle schools, these are great general areas that it's okay to distribute bandit signs at because all these places have intersections, stop signs, places where people stop and look. So here's good rules of thumbs to pass them out. In particular, some criteria for anywhere you're going to pass them out. Okay, they have to meet these 4. You have to park safely. It has to be relatively trafficked, so it can't be in the middle of nowhere where no one's ever driving. These are places where people are going to, coming from. It's trafficked, but it's also places where people are stopping and looking. And in general, when you're putting these signs, make sure it's able to be read. What's the purpose of the sign if it can't be read? Make sure it can be read. It's oriented to the street in a way that the people, driving in either direction or one prominent direction perhaps, are able to read that sign. And it's a place where the sign will stay, hopefully. It's not somewhere there that is well manicured. It's not a lawn where it's going to have to be moved when it gets cut, for example. So places where people are going to not interrupt the sign. So here's a good rules of thumb for where to distribute bandit signs.